What's up guys, Card Protagonist here, and today we'll be doing a deck profile on the Zwei Azi Dahaka deck from the brand new set Solar Strife. So with Solar Strife, Zwei and Sun Dragons have gotten a revamp and has gotten so much stronger. If you guys would like to see a deck profile for the Sun Dragons, be sure to subscribe to my channel as I will be doing a deck profile on the Sun Dragon deck really soon. So without further ado, let's get started with the deck profile. So right here I have the brand new Zwei flag. This is an SP version. It is really similar to the one in the secret pack, just that this one has the golden wording on it. Nonetheless, it's one of the most beautiful flags in Buddyfight right now, along with the Sun Dragon one. So of course with Zwei we will be starting the match with 20 life, which is Zwei's specialty. And for the buddy we use Zurvan is because he is not only a boss monster, he is also an excellent support monster. As previously mentioned, he is able to go into dive assist, allowing you to go into your win con, and also you can redo some cool combos with him with some of the secret pack cards, which I will be going through right now. So yeah, so Zurvan as buddy, you could use Daya if you want to, or any size 0 which is accessible. So for now, we will be using Zurvan as buddy. So for the first one of the deck, we'll be going through 4 copies of Zurvan, Sky Carnage, Sun Deity, Azi Dahaka Caravan. So his ability is Core Cost, put a monster from your field into your drop zone and pay 3 gauge. It is actually similar to Daya, however it does take 1 less sacrifice to call it. So in certain situations which you only have 1 monster to sack, I recommend you go Zurvan because Zurvan will eventually get into Daya. In case you have a choice to search with your Abyss Gate, when this card is destroyed, you may discard a hand card. If you do, call up to 1 monster with Azi Dahaka in its card name from your hand or deck without paying its core cost. So this greatly improves the consistency of the deck because the main goal of this deck is actually to go into Daya. So with this, you have an alternate road to Daya. You either want to open up with Daya or Zurvan because eventually you get into a Dragon Dray flag. So opening up with one of these in your 4-hand card is a very good start, as long as you have some support monsters, which I will be showing. I forgot to mention that Zurvan actually has another ability. When this card attacks, it attacks all monsters including opponents. So even if your opponent have a monster in the center, let's say your opponent is fighting against Zurvan and their Zurvan attacks, you will still take 3 damage even if you have a monster in the center because it attacks the player and the monster. So 4 copies of Zurvan because it is great. Later on I'll be showing you a combo you can do with Zurvan. Now it's 4 copies of Daya. Right now I might actually cut into 3 because once you go into Daya and go into Dragon Dray flag, it's pretty much dead. Zurvan actually has an extra purpose because whenever he dies, he's basically immortal because whenever he dies, you discard 1 card. You from a deck, you get another Zurvan or another Azi Dahaka. There will be 1 card that I call it the Tapeworm, which allows you to destroy your monsters, counter destroy your monsters. It is kind of like a Devil's Stigma, so you'll be able to do extra attacks. To quickly go through, Daya Assist allows you to search your deck for a Dragon Dry and gain 5 life. If your opponent destroys Daya and you have 20 life, you become 25 life, which is freaking amazing because sometimes you do not want to wait until too late to equip your Dragon Dry, especially if your deck main winning image is to go into the transform cards. So of course we want to go Daya ASAP. You get to draw 1 card and equip your Dragon Dray from your deck and gain 5 life. Simply amazing. Also he boasts the penetrate and triple attack, which means he's an incredibly powerful monster to call as well as an attacker. So 4 copies. Alright, now let's go into our transforms. I do make some modifications to my transform because right now, with so much draw power in the deck, I do actually use less of this guy, which is 3 copies of White Gaian. I will call him White Gaian because it's a white version. So there's black and white in this deck. White version, basically when you transform, you can draw until your hand of 6 cards. Really amazing skill back then because you do deplete a lot of your hand size to call monsters. But right now, your hand size is really big. So sometimes I actually do not go into him. Instead, I'll go to the other version. And of course, the second ability is to activate during your main phase. You can discard 1 card from your hand. If you do discard, either gains penetrate or double attack. Transform for 3 gauge. Pretty cheap, honestly, because there's so much gauge adding in this deck. Just 3 copies because we'll be playing 3 copies of the black version. Black Deity Sun. He's also a fantastic card because he gives you more control other than draw power. I actually prefer to go into him multiple occasions, so I actually play 3 right now, balance it out. There are also some cards that allows us to search this out. When you transform this card, until the end of your opponent's next turn, he cannot draw any cards. So it is amazing because right now, Buddyfight, there's so much draw power, it's insane. And of course, stopping all that draw power while breaking their whole field can really cripple their gameplay. So that's why this guy is really good. He boasts a 15k attack power and 12k defense, which means your chances are your opponent will have to link attack. Example, decks like Atora rarely does go above 12k and really have a hard time fighting against these kind of transforms. 3 gauge for transform, really easy. Of course, usually I'll call him if I have a lot of hand size because if you're gonna draw just 1 card from this, might as well just draw this. And of course, you can always transform over into him, plunge your hand if you need to. Second ability is activate during your main phase. You can discard discard 2 size 3 or greater monsters from your hand and pay 2 gauge. If you do, you gain 5 life. So just in case you need some life gain, it's just there. Alright, some brand new cards from the set is 2 copies of Reset Skill. Reset Skill is amazing because he allows you to search out for a Dragon Dry or a card with Gaia in the name. So Gaian, you can choose which Gaian you want. Fantastic card, but of course you need to pay 2 life, which is easy because you have 20 life and life is never a problem. And of course he can also be sacrificial food after you call him. So 2 copies of it because it allows you to toolbox into whichever Gaian transforms you want. So that's 2 copies. Alright, now it's 4 copies of Mark Held. This card is really interesting because I don't really see a lot of people playing it. This card in my opinion is one of my favorite cards. Reason why is because it helps so much in this deck. There's so many occasions where you actually need to discard cards or sacrifice cards. When this card is placed on a field or hand into the drop zone, for example discarding or sacrificing of food, put the top card of the deck into gauge. Then if you size 3 or greater monster on your field, you can draw 1 card. The reason why this card is really good is because once you have Gaian on the field, you permanently has a size 3 above monster on the field. Even though it's considered as an item, he is still a monster on the field. So yeah, that's something really cool to note. And of course, let's not forget that whenever you discard with its ability, you can always charge and draw. However, it's once per turn. Let me list up some of the few cards that you require you to discard cards. So one of this, one is this. These require you to discard. A lot of your main cards actually requires you to discard, and this guy is never dead for me. Even if you do not use him to discard, you can always use him as a sacrificial bait. For example, if you are gonna if you have this on a field and you sacrifice, pay 3 gauge and send this to the drop zone. When this card enters the drop zone from the field, you already have an Azi Dahaka on the field, which is size 3 and above. You can charge and draw, which is nice. This is an Albedo combined with Boost, which is amazing. So yeah, now you guys definitely should give this guy a try. It's a double rare and it's really new. I really like it. The only thing it kind of stings is the little 1 lifelink, which is no problem honestly. And you do not suffer 1 lifelink when you discard it anyway. So 4 copies, 3 to 4 is fine. Right, back then I used to play this card, right now I reduce it to 2. It's because it has a 1 lifelink skill, and when this card enters the field, you can put the top card of your deck into the drop zone. If it's a monster with dragon attribute, you can add it to your hand, otherwise you gain 1 life. What it means is when this card enters the field, draw 1 card, because pretty much almost all your deck is dragon except for your flag. It has a 1 lifelink stinging thingy. Great thing is that it doesn't need to, it is not once per turn, so it is real life, and if you want to play 4, it's fine. Yeah, it's still a very nice card, especially if you really want to turbo into stuff. You could actually call this over, just to take the life damage is okay. As long as you're going to win con, gain back a life is no problem in this deck. Alright, 40 size one, we play 4 copies of the Tapeworm. I don't know what his name is, weird. However, it is an incredible card, an ugly and incredible card. Reason why is because he has a counter ability. Gone are the days where your opponent bounce back your Azi Dahaka and you're screwed. Because back then Azi Dahaka do have the problem of if it's on the field in the center, you really want it to die so they can go to Dre, but it just bounces back and just go for a face. So that you don't want it to happen. So if you have Azi on the field, you have this guy with the counter ability. You may destroy a size 3 or greater monster with Azi Dahaka in his name and put this card from your field or hand into the drop zone. If you do, draw 2 cards. So 2 ways you can use it. Either on the field to sack it off. Both of them will go to the drop zone and draw 2 cards, so you're not losing anything, you're basically getting a free plus. It's kind of like a draw power. It's kind of like Devil Stigma, gives you awesome pluses. Or you could use it from your hand. You could actually like trick your opponent, play mind games with them. If they think that, okay, I'm just gonna like spend some resources to bounce back Azi Dahaka, no way, I'm just gonna counter it and destroy it myself, so that I can go into my Dragon Dre and gain a 25 life and beat you down. So fantastic card. One combo I'd like to show you is with, let's say you have multiple copy of these in your hand and just 1 copy of these on the field, you can do some really crazy things. So for example, let's say it's your battle phase, you have this on the field, attack your whole field, so that's huge damage because you basically wipe up their monsters and their life points. So once you attack, once you're rested after attack, I counter with this. This guy is not once per turn, and of course if you have Azi Dahaka on the field, if you can call it to the side, it is a size 0, so it's really nice. And you could sack this away, sack Azi Dahaka, pay its cost of discarding 1 card. You draw 2 cards first, then you discard 1 of them, so you can discard anything from your deck, call back another Zurvan, attack 1 more time, and use it again. And if you think you got lethal, you can always go and end off with this triple attack 1 to swing for 6 damage. So yeah, these are some really cool combos you could try out. I really like it because it really surprises opponent. A lot of people think this affects once per turn, but it's not. So having multiple copies in your hand is so damn good. So it is very important, and I'm really happy that we have gotten this card because first off, it prevents you from missing your Dre flag. Secondly, it gives you combo with Zurvan. Freaking amazing card. Allows you to draw 2 cards as well, which replenishes your hand size. So great card. Another of my favorite card from the set is 4 copies of Bloodion. Bloodion is so good because it is not once per turn again. Basically, when this card enters the field, check your top 3 cards of the deck and put it in the drop zone. Put any number of monsters among them into your gauge. So think about this. When this card enters the field, you look at top 3 cards of the deck. It is pretty much guaranteed to be monsters because I only play 3 flags in the deck. So 98% is monsters. And you definitely gotta get that awesome 3 gauge, and it's not once per turn. Really good card. It basically ensures you that you will never have any gauge problem in this game. Such an amazing card. And it's a danger world as well, which means it gives you a different world count. I think I do not play any danger world cards in here right now. So yeah, amazing card. Definitely play 4. Excellent gauge adder. Next is 2 copies of Boost. Boost is amazing in this deck. Basically, when it's sent to the drop zone from the field and you have 3 different worlds, which is pretty much guaranteed because I play so many different worlds in this deck, you can charge and draw. It is used once per turn though, so be careful. That's why I reduce it, because you do not want to have too many in your hand, you get really cloggy. Now, this card is from the secret pack as well. Amazing card. 4 copies of Abyss Shield Dragon. Abyss Shield Dragon is a cute dragon and it allows you to draw 1 free card. Basically, if you have 3 different worlds in the drop zone, you can nullify an attack, and if you have Azi Dahaka on the field, you can draw 1 card. Nullifying an attack and drawing a card for free is simply amazing. So definitely I play 4. If you guys would like to mix it up with the Abigail, it's cool. I definitely play 4 of these because this is just so good, drawing 1 free card for free. Now, this is our favorite card in Dragon Zwei. Basically, 4 copies of Destructor, pay 2 life to draw 2 cards as long as your flag is Dragon Zwei. So be very careful. If you re-transform to Dragon Dry, you will not be able to activate its ability. He is pretty much useless in the late game. So early game, if you get it in your opening hand, cheers, because he gives you so much pluses. Now, one of the most important cards in the deck is 4 copies of Abyss Gate. Reason why is because he allows you to search out for Azi Dahaka, which is your win con. So right now we actually have 12 ways to get into Azi Dahaka. So what Abyss Gate does is when this card enters the field, you can discard a card from a hand. It allows you to search out for Azi Dahaka, your main winning image. And the last monster of the deck we play is 3 copies of Future Eater. This card is really interesting and gives you extra resources. When this card enters the field, choose up to 1 size 3 or greater monster with dragon in its attribute. This means you'll not only be able to search for Azi Dahaka, you could also target your Gaians, which is size 10. As long as they have a dragon attribute, they have dragon, dragon, and dragon. So any Azi Dahaka, any size 3s in the drop zone, you target them and then destroy 1 other monsters on the field. If you do, put the chosen card from the drop zone into your hand. So for example, let's say I do not have a Nagayan in my hand. So most of the time what I do is I summon Future Eater, I'll destroy 1 of my other monsters, probably something like you already reap off the benefits and it's a dead monster, you sack it off, get to your hand. And honestly, that's not the only reason why I use him. The reason why is because he allows you to fetch back any monsters and he gives you 1 gauge and 1 life. I play 3 only because I don't really use him a lot. Just in case in the late game I really do need a monster, I can always fetch it back this ability. So 3 copies. And finally, I play 3 copies of Dragon Dry Flag. I used to play 2 and I find that 3 is the most consistent because there's so many times in the games that I either get 2 charge in the gauge or in the drop zone and I won't be able to call out with the Azi Dahaka Daya, which is a huge headache because that's pretty much game for you because you won't be able to access your main winning image. So 3 is the safest choice. You can always discard it off if you do not want it. There's so many discard fodders in this deck such as Gaian. So yeah, that's pretty much the deck profile for the Dragon Zwei Azi Dahaka Zurvan deck, and I really hope you enjoyed this video and be sure to subscribe if you want more awesome Buddyfight deck profiles. And also, if you guys would like to buy Buddyfight decks and singles from the brand new Solar Strife set, be sure to check out www.buddy-mart.com. Links in the description box down below. So yeah, thanks for watching guys, peace out and love you guys. Rawr.